Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Lunch with Paul and Raquel Blake out of Jamaica. And we are indeed happy to have you on with us this evening, discussing important matters pertaining to marriage. Wherever you're joining from, we are indeed happy to have you on this platform. Raquel, how are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I am good. I am good.
Yes, we're happy to be back again on Level Up Your Marriage. We have an interesting topic for you this evening. Our conversation, actually, a conversation, yes,
Hmm.
where we'll be talking about forgiveness, the safety net beneath every strong marriage, you know.
Right.
So that's an important topic. And of course, we know that forgiveness is can be, but we're going to delve into it, and we, of course, feel it and to it with
That's
us.
right. That's right. And we want to, the forgiveness is a touchy topic, and we want to explore it in a very biblical and godly way, and looking at what Jesus had to say about forgiveness and the place that it plays in our relationships. So, what is forgiveness? Okay, what is forgiveness?
Well, um, to release resentment, forgiveness implies that you have been hurt, someone has been hurt, has been offended in one way or another,
Hmm.
and then it's a choice now, it's a decision to deal with to deal with the matter
Okay.
in a way that and I would say that's a process, not a one-time thing, because really some offense and hurt may be very, very deep. And so it's not a one, two, three that, I forgive you right away. It's a process and it
Hmm.
will take time. But it's a choice to release resentment rather than hold up bitterness in one's heart against someone. So that's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about forgiveness.
And I guess the best place to go is looking at the biblical model of what forgiveness is.
Yes.
In Matthew chapter 6, when Jesus speaks of the model prayer, and he says,
Yes.
forgive our debtors. Forgive us as we forgive our
Others.
debtors.
Yes.
And in Romans, I think it's Romans chapter 6, when the Bible says that, when we were still sinners, that Christ died, which is an act of also forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
His death demonstrates God's forgiveness.
Yes.
And so when we think of forgiveness, we have to look at the model that was laid down for us. And the fact that I like what Romans says, that when we were still sinners, when we were dead set against God,
Yes.
that God
Yeah,
chose.
we offended him.
Yeah, when we offended God, God chose
Yeah.
to offer us his forgiveness.
Yes.
And it's in the same way he wants us to exercise that forgiveness in our relationships. Jesus, in one of his discussions with the Apostle Peter, when Peter asked, how many times should I forgive my brother who offends me? And Jesus' response to him was that up to 70 times
Times
7.
seven. Yes.
And that was really not a mathematical lesson that Jesus was giving, but Jesus was actually stating to him that however often your brother seeks forgiveness, then you also have an obligation to offer him that forgiveness. And so forgiveness really is a commitment to stop holding the offense against the other person.
Person.
And as you rightly said, it is a process. It's not a one time event. And we find that in relationships, especially marriage, forgiveness is probably one of the most difficult areas to work towards. And a lot of it has to do with culture, it has to do with our upbringing, It has to do with what we see in our family dynamics, in the environment in which we live. Um, Forgiveness sometimes is not the easiest thing to exercise. So how does that now play in marriage? But before Raquel, before we can even establish what forgiveness is, it's also important that we look at what forgiveness is not.
True.
Right?
True, yes, because there are common
There
misunderstandings
are
about
very
forgiveness.
common misunderstandings of what forgiveness um, is, or what we think forgiveness
Yes.
is. But a lot of times it is not what we think it is. So what is forgiveness? What is not forgiveness?
So forgiveness is not forgetting the
It's
offense.
not forgetting the offense.
People might say we should forgive and forget, right?
Yes.
Another fact, where it's very unlikely that you will
That you
forget.
that you can
Yes,
forget.
but one of our ministers, I think Brother Mitchell some time ago said that, you don't remember it with resentment
You
and
don't remember.
bitterness,
Yes,
you
that's
know.
right.
So, forgiveness is not forgetting the offense. It is not excusing or tolerating, the harmful behavior that was done to
Hmm.
the individual, and it is not even immediate reconciliation. So we have to remember those things that,
It's often
it,
sometimes something that you have to work through. Right.
yes, you have to work it through.
So, all right, let us pick up on this idea of forgiving and not forgetting, because it is one, I think it's one of the most common things when it comes to dealing with relationships,
Yes,
that I can forgive but I
can't
can't forget.
forget.
And is that necessarily true though? When you can't forget something, to me it is giving an idea that you are unable to move past the offense, right? And so if I forgive you and I can't forget, then isn't it also indicating that at some point in time I'm going to be full of resentment when I reflect and recall
Yeah.
what you have done, or if it is vice versa, what I have done when I can't forget. I was listening to a program some time ago, and I think the gentleman explained that thought of forgetting in a way that I kind of I understood what he was saying. He said that in forgiving somebody and forgetting, and it goes back to what you said, that the process, that as you work through the situation, then it becomes less and less of a stumbling block before you.
Yes.
And so over time, you release whatever offense this person has done, because you have been able to process it, you have been able to exercise, and he said, especially if you are someone of a godly mind, when you
Yeah.
exercise that mind of God, then it gives you the space or the room to process, and then it becomes less and less of an obstacle